So, Poco introduced some new phones today, and today we of course have one ourselves. Now let's open this. I really like what Poco does when you get this little briefcase that you can open and then just get the phone out of it. And yes, it is the Poco X4 GT. So this is the latest addition to a phone that is more comfortable in terms of pricing than of course flagships. When it comes to the Poco X4 GT, there are of course some differences that straight away are noticeable, especially when it comes to the design. Poco often of course has that black line on the back, not for this one, and I kind of like it that they didn't do it for this one. It of course comes with the MediaTek Dimensity 8100, and of course it does have dual 5G, 144 Hz refresh rate. However, it isn't an AMOLED display. It has a 5080 mAh battery and 67 watt charging. When it comes to the main camera, it's of course that 64 megapixel sensor, and of course it does have Dolby Atmos stereo speakers. So let's look at the phone itself first. Now for myself, I got the gray version. Of course, as always, there are different versions available, but for myself, I got this gray version. Let me remove that sticker. And you can straight away see that it doesn't have that black part here on the back. And I think overall that makes more sense. It looks more appealing this way. I feel like if they added the black mark here, it would feel a little bit too random. Now of course you can see two large ones, but the main one is a 64 megapixel sensor. You get an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel sensor next to it, which really doesn't matter at all, and I think it actually would have looked better without it. But with that being said, just overall the shape looks fine, and of course it does feel good in the hand. It comes with a headphone jack, and in terms of what you get inside the box, no surprise at all. Well, is it? Maybe lately it is. 67 watt charger is included as well. Really nice. When it comes to what you get, of course, here in this, your normal SIM ejection tool. You get a screen protector that you can put on it, your normal manuals, and of course a case with it as well. This is just your standard TPU clear case, which actually is something I prefer because it does allow you to still see the design itself. Again, fits nicely on there. See, do they have that little... Yeah, so it does have that little flap right there for, of course, your USB-C port. So, this is the Poco X4 GT. Overall, I think it's going to be an interesting device, and I haven't used the phone yet with the Dimensity 8100. Overall, I think it's going to be an interesting chip to see how it performs, and of course compares to some other devices out there. For instance, Snapdragon 870, how it compares to that, because that's one of the best chips you can currently get in a phone. So, really good to see that they still use that, of course, for the Poco F4. Either way, when it comes to, of course, the Poco X4 GT, I'm really curious to see the performance of it, but also, of course, how the display is. Because unlike, of course, the regular Poco X4, it doesn't actually come with an AMOLED display, which I feel like is a little bit of a shame. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it performs, and it is what it is currently. I'm curious to see how it is in terms of brightness, and just compare it to, of course, the Poco X4. We're gonna have to find out about that later. When it comes to just your regular things, of course you have your fingerprint scanner on the side, volume, buttons. The bottom you have your USB-C, of course your speaker, and of course your SIM slot as well. And on the top you of course have your 3.5mm headphone jack, your IR blaster, and of course some speakers there on top as well. So I'm gonna use it for a bit and just see how it performs and what I think about it, and then I'll give you a first impression about it. But honestly, I'm curious to see how it performs overall.